All right, I just mounted this part here in the chuck, and I've indicated it in, but I'm going to check it again because, let me wipe it off here. I'm going to check it again because I left this overnight, and let me see if I can get this kind of where you guys might see it. Okay. And I just want to make sure that it's still running true. Kind of hard for me to see the indicator right here, but kind of doing it so maybe you guys could see it a little bit. I'm trying out this 360 camera here. See how it works. Okay, it looks like the part's running out about 1/1000th of an inch, which is probably okay for this setup, but just to make things a little better. Kind of hard for me to, like I said, to see that indicator. I'm thinking that might be better. Let's see. I don't know with this 360 camera if you can see what's happening there or not. All right, I want to line up. That looks pretty good. That's running pretty darn true. So let me run down. Let me run down to the other end of the part. See up here, the steady rest. Up here at the steady rest, it should be running true. I mean, it can't really run out at the steady rest unless the part's not really round, which is about to be expected. All right. The only way is if the part is bent or something, and it's causing this to flex the steady rest a little bit, but it's running pretty true. It's within less than 1/1000. So let me go through how I would check this alignment. Okay, to line this up, I just I'm going to put the C-axis on a position right around C0 here in this case. And I'm going to come up to Y0 on the readout there in the display. I'm going to change this indicator a little bit. You won't be able to see it on my side with the camera where it is, but what I'm going to do, I want to check the alignment of my steady rest down here, because I had the manual one on there and I took it off and I mounted this one. I put this part in here and I indicated it in, and I want to just verify that. Let me go close this door. I can't close that door all the way over there because the compressor will overheat if the air doesn't circulate, but I close it a little bit. I think it helps the sound a little bit so it's not so loud. Now, what I was saying is I just put this steady rest back onto the machine, onto this mount, the steady rest here, and I want to verify the alignment of it here. I put the part in the chuck, put the jaws in the chuck, the ones I need. I put the part in, I indicated it. As you saw, it's running true in there, at least here. And it's running true at the steady rest, but when you're using a steady rest, you have to make sure your alignment, particularly on a CNC machine, and also on a manual machine too, you could be off. in your alignment, the way you adjust the jaws. On this, being as it's a self-centering steady rest, I have to adjust the base, move it around, up and down and back and forth, so that it's running parallel to the Z-axis, if you will. So how do I check that here? You know, on a normal machine, on an engine lathe, you might put the tailstock in and put the part between centers, and then adjust your jaws and your steady rest until the bearings are just contacting the part. And that, for the most part, is pretty good. But here, I can't really do that with this kind of a steady rest, because it would put too much force on things. If you put the tailstock up there, if I could do that, this part doesn't have a center drill on it, but if I could do that, it would, when I close this steady rest, depending on things here, I could loosen the bolts and I could close it, then I could snug the bolts up, but that doesn't always get it exactly there. It gets it close, but it doesn't exactly get it there. And these, this should be pretty close to begin with, because the mounting features, I guess I might say, on this base have adjustment screws, and they were pretty much right when I took it off, so they should be pretty close to putting it back on. So after all that long explanation, what I'm going to do is I ran the machine to where I think my 0 point in Y is here, and I'm going to actually indicate that now. So I got to adjust this indicator on this side. Let me see here. I'll give it a little more indicator to where I'm getting my null reading by swinging it in a rotary way, rotating it, the spindle, and then I'm jogging up and down in Z, or in this case X, until it's 0, or I get the null reading, and I'm zeroing the indicator on that reading. Now I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to check that on the other side. Now I can't see this from here, so I'm going to have to look at a mirror the way the indicator's facing. And I got to get my null reading here. See, I don't know if you can see that indicator with this camera, but I'm off about, let me see, I'm off center according to where I think my 0 is, about 1/1000th and a half. So I'm going to jog this over to there, and I'm going to re-zero my indicator here. Make sure I'm on the high spot on the diameter of the part, which it is. Okay, that's 0 now. I'm going to swing this back around and check it on this side. I know you can't see it, but, and that's really good on that side. Okay, so I'm going to re-zero my, over here on my work offset. I'm going to teach it 0 for Y right there. Okay, I'm going to do that for all these offsets that I'm using here. Sometimes I set another offset that I'm not even using, so that I kind of keep track of my 0 point. So we're going to come up, and then we're going to do that down here, as far down here as we can get. I'm going to check it. Maybe I can go all the way to the end of the part. Let's go all the way out here. And assuming this part's, there might be slight, I don't know, very slight mismatch in their turning. I think they turn this part up to their jaws and flip it around and turn this little section afterwards, it looks like. But it looks pretty good. There's not more than 1/1000th at most. So now I'm going to check that 0 here. Now, the part could have a taper or anything in it, so this is kind of canceling out that taper, if you will. I want to just check the center of the diameter. In fact, I might be able to get on here where it was turned from before. Yeah, back here. I'm thinking that I got to move the steady rest a little bit. It's saying it's 2/1000ths into the indicator on that side. Let's see if I can do this here. Let me get the mirror. I want to hit this screw on the side of the steady rest. That's my indicator. Okay, so it's I'll move up here a little bit more. All right, so it looks like my steady rest has to go that direction a little bit. So what I got to do, it's kind of time consuming, but first I have to loosen these bolts enough or I can't move anything. Just barely snug them up. That one's okay. Now, got to get an Allen wrench, and this This is what happens when you have everything all scattered around. Can't find what you want. Know what I did with my metric. I've got a short leg set here. I want the standard Allen wrench set. Where did I put it? Okay. I don't know where I put them. Oh, here they are. Underneath the rag, of course. All right, now this screw on this side, I don't know if you can see that or not, but takes this 3/4 inch wrench, and this one takes this Allen wrench here. I'm going to put it on the indicator on this side so I can read it. I basically want to come back up to my 0 almost, which means it's into the indicator. I got to push it away. So I got to loosen this screw here, push it over with this one. I think maybe about right there. Let's see. I'm going to 0 the indicator here. Make sure I'm on 0. I'm going to come back over there. You see it's about, I got to move over about 1/1000th of an inch still. Maybe I can do it with this mirror. Let's see. I'm trying to feel this screw here. Where is it? Right there. I'm thinking that's going to be it right there as far as the side to side. Okay. Come back up and check the other side if it's 0. That's good. All right, now I'm going to move this over here. We're going to check down the top of the part. Now the top of the part, if the part's not straight, there's kind of a little step in the part right here, or not a step, but maybe where they match turnings together. I don't know. I didn't turn the OD of this part, so I didn't do it. But what I'm going to do here, if I can, just run the indicator down the top of the part and make sure we're setting kind of parallel to the vertical axis, or you know, the on the top here. I'm going to make sure I got the high point of this radius. I'm going to put the 0 right here, but I'm going to go upward with it. I don't want to be over traveling my, maybe I'll put it right here so I can see, I can kind of see the indicator without getting a bunch of parallax on the needle. And maybe you guys can see the indicator as well. I don't know. We're going to run it down the top of the part. So far it's looking pretty good. See that step right there? That's that step where somebody turned, if you can see that. Probably. Okay. Now that looks pretty good. So I'm going to, now what I'm going to do, I've got the thing lined up pretty good in both directions. And I'm going to snug up those screws tighter. Just a little bit tighter. This doesn't have to be excessively tight. Even that tight, it's really difficult to move this thing. I'm going to check it one more time after I do this too. Okay, now put this away. I don't think I'll need that anymore. Usually it doesn't move when you do that. But just to be on the safe side, I'm going to check it again. It's always better to check something and be sure. Got to make sure I'm on Y0, which I'm not. Okay. Now, let's get this over here somewhere. Jog down in X. Indicator kind of aligned. Whenever you're indicating something like this, this is the kind of the trickiest part. Sort of get this indicator in a place where it's gonna read a null reading, so the indicator isn't at some big angle to the work. I'm going to move this out just a little bit. All right, let's make sure up and down. Jog it up and down till you get your null reading in the up and down direction on the height of this radius. And swing it back and forth. Zero the indicator there. Okay. Now, up. Put my mirror over here. I got to get the mirror. Jog it down until I get the null reading going up and down, and swing the about a half a thousandth. I probably could correct that with just a little bit of a, maybe without loosening the screws or anything. Maybe. Let's see. Nope, not really. See if I can move this thing with that. It's got to go toward the indicator. Okay. Thinking that's going to be it right there. I'll re-zero my indicator. All right, go back up. Down. Okay, that's good. Okay, it is important to check things after you tighten the screws. Now, let's see if I can what we're going to do is come in here, we're going to indicate our, let's set our Y0 on where the part is. And then we're going to indicate the X0. Let me, I'm going to have to possibly move the camera for this. I'm still getting used to this 360 camera, so I'm not sure what it's going to do if I come down here. Yeah, I think I'm going to move the camera. I'm going to jog this down to X0. Like I said, this is a little bit strange because you don't actually, with this kind of a camera, you don't actually see where you're filming, if that makes any sense. It's kind of like you're pointing this camera and it's taking video in all directions. And you can't see on the I can see on my phone. I'm looking at my phone down here. You might be able, you could probably see it in the, and I can actually swing the framing around to anywhere I want. It's kind of strange by just dragging it around on the phone. So here I'm going to put the this is where I think the 0 point is, but it may not be here. So I'm going to put my indicator here. I'm just going to swing it around the part just to check it roughly. Okay, it's not too bad. But see this arrow I wrote on the, I don't know if you can see that. I marked an arrow with a Sharpie. And I'm going to actually rotate the part and rotate the indicator with the part. So if there's any run out in the end of this part for some reason, from turning or whatever, it kind of cancels that out and you're making sure you're actually on the rotational center. See over here, the Y shows it being off. I'll jog it over there. Let's see if that works. You might not be able to see the indicator very well in the video, but see what I'm doing is making sure I've got 0 or very close to 0. Now, there's a lot of people that question when I do this kind of stuff about the gravity effect on this indicator and this arm and indicator and everything. I notice I've tried to keep it very short here on the overhang of the arm, and I've also tested this pretty thoroughly in the past, and I know that this this little short Noga arm with this inter-rapid indicator on it it has very little error due to gravity in the horizontal position. But that would be important if you're going to use any indicator in this position, and particularly now I've seen people take, you know, like mag bases and stick them on chucks, like if this was the chuck here, and then stick this mag base way out and rotate it around, and that's going to give you an error in the vertical direction on indicating that way. You can't really do that because the weight of the base and the arm and the pressure of the stylus, depending on what kind of indicator you're using, it's going to push up on the top and down at the bottom, and you have to be aware of those things when you use indicators in the horizontal position like this. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I'm going to check my 0 point. It was off a couple of tenths. Not much. Okay, teach. I'm going to teach. Let me look at this again just to make sure. I'm going to rotate the part with it. Trying to keep the indicator more or less on that. Now, with this particular part, I have to indicate this hole I put the arrow on. So I'm going to put it on what I think C0 is going to be. Very close to it. Okay. And then this hole is sitting at a minus 2 thousandths this way and 2.060, excuse me. 2.060. You might be able to see you can't read it, of course, but you might be able to see what I'm doing here. Now I'm going to play with this video and see if I can show this. Because like I say, this is like the first time, except for some Instagram post I did yesterday with this camera, first time I've ever used this camera. And it's editing software and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not 100% with it yet. So this is basically, I was centered here, now I've put the part where I think, that's pretty darn good, where I think C0 should be. I kind of indicated this. The reason I'm rechecking it, not only just to make the video, but when you power the machine down and power it back up, this steady rest base, this whole thing down here moves. And when it reclamps onto the waist, the hydraulic pressure, of course, releases, and then it reclamps in the morning, and things move around just very slightly, which is, but this didn't move at all. This looks pretty good. And what I do is I come down here and check this hole on this setup as well, just to make sure I've got things lined up correctly. I wrote this down on a paper. This is -2.060, and this is 146. Oh, this is really minus 146 and 0.356 here. So I'm going to go down to minus 146. This is the ideal location of the hole at 356. All right. That's the ideal location if the holes, I didn't drill these holes. Dearborn International drilled them up in, I think they're in Maine or somewhere. This is usually where this whole part was gun drilled by them. These holes you're seeing in the here go, some of them go almost all the way through the part, and some of them go a certain distance. This hole up here, this larger hole, it's a 3/8 hole, goes off at an angle through the part actually. So if they got them in the perfect position, let's see, I don't think they did probably. Let's see, no. But see, they have a tolerance they got to work with too. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of and this could be influenced by my rotational C0 too. See, everything can come into play here. I'm trying to just average out my error, or look at what my error is on my display here on the screen. So that's hole's indicated in, and the hole is actually at minus 147, so it's a thousandth of an inch too low, and 356, 359.7. So it's, you know, it's maybe it's actually a half a thousandth too low, really, in reality. No, a thousandth, that's right. And this is 0.3597, and it should be 0.356. So, you know, it's about 3.7 thousandths over. And they probably have it in tolerance, I would imagine. But it's I'm going to call that my C0 then. It's more important for this hole up at the top here to be on alignment than this one in this setup. So that's what I do for that. And then I'm gonna orient the spindle here, because I can't take the this tool out of the spindle with it. Not oriented, if you will. You put the hammer indicator in here. Then I'm going to come up here, go back to my Y0. Probably doesn't matter here if the face is square, but I'm going to come up here close to where this hole is, because I just want to set it right there. I'm going to jog this up to a 0 point, and at this point I'm going to teach work offset. I'm going to teach 0 there for the Z0. All right, so that's basically how I'm checked to make sure everything is in alignment to begin this setup. Just wanted to show that. Maybe that would, you know, there may be somebody that would help somebody. This camera is kind of strange to work with. I can literally point this this field of view any direction. It's kind of weird. And so let me put this in the computer and play around with the edit and see what it looks like. I just wanted to make a short little video messing with this camera and show you how I check the alignment of this this part here in the spindle and the steady rest and everything. So thanks for watching.